everyone, and welcome to The Closer Look, the place where we discuss and analyze different pieces of literature. I'm Andrew, your host for the night.
And I'm Dana.
I'm Jan.
And I'm Jacob. Today we're going to be analyzing the play Inherit the Wind by Jerome Lawrence and Robert E. Lee.
Let's start about some background information regarding the authors. They met in 1942 as radio partners, and then they began to write plays together. Such chemistry made it easy for them to write about Inherit the Wind, which is based off the John Scopes trial of 1925, also known as the Monkey Trial.
Jan, that's a squirrel.
What? Forget you.
Alright, anyways guys, why would they choose this topic with such historical ties?
Communism.
What?
Communism. 1955 was the time of the McCarthy trials. Here, I have a list of communists. Now I have information. There was a lot of logical mass hysteria caused by McCarthy accusing everyone and their mother of being a communist. So Lawrence and Lee criticized this by writing about another event which provoked a kind of absurd cult of hysteria, the religious fundamentalism of Brady and his followers.
Oh, wait, I see. So they used past historical events to criticize contemporary ones. Well, tell us more about like the Scope trials and like the trials that they based the play off of.
Both trials focus on the schism between religion and evolution. The two sides, Brady and Drummond, are based off the actual attorneys William Jennings Bryan and Clarence Darrow, respectively. The trial actually did take place in Dayton, Tennessee, and the logic by both sides in both counts are quite similar. However, the authors make it clear that their purpose is not to give an account of the actual trial in 1925, but to put forth a universal statement, the criticism of unfounded mass hysteria.
Anyways, guys, I heard there's actually a movie coming out about this play.
There is. I think it's coming out in the fall of 2012.
Yeah, there was a trailer released a couple of weeks ago.
Well, let's take a closer look.
Pretty good.
Too bad we don't analyze movies. Those are some awesome actors.
Yeah, I like the Asian one.
Of course you did. No, but really, guys, that trailer highlighted the important qualities in our characters.
You're right, especially the actor who played Drummond, the defense attorney. He really brought out the witty remarks that define his role in the book. He also displayed Drummond's fight against the injustice of the biased court. But even more important, the trailer showed how Drummond was not just defending case. He was fighting for a bigger picture. The people have the right to think.
And of course, he wouldn't be fighting such a big battle if it weren't for his foil,
Matthew Harrison Brady!
Who was a very hardcore feminine to this day. Mr. Brady in the film, as seen in the trailer, was a very prominent political figure who was known for his strong beliefs in the Bible. The trailer showed one of the most important scenes where he was being questioned about his knowledge about the Bible, and he was made a fool of. This shows that this egotistic, arrogant, and proud man has faults, which led to his mental breakdown at the end of the novel.
Mr. Brady does put up a good fight, though. He leads the town against Mr. Cates, the 24-year-old schoolteacher who deliberately broke the law to prove a point. Mr. Brady even gets Rachel, Mr. Cates' sweetheart, to speak up against him. This leads Mr. Cates to constant questioning whether he should just give up his cause. He displays a lack of self-confidence, and he is influenced by what the town thinks of him. The last major character shown was H.K. Hornbeck, who is a reporter and constantly brings humor into this all-around serious play. He is clever, and he is one of the first to realize that this court case needs to be published because it finally addresses the conflicting beliefs between religion and science.
Of course there are other characters.
But it's time for a commercial break.
So we'll see you when we get back.
Order your fantastic golden dancer now. Just look at the expert craftsmanship. See how its gold body glitters in the sunlight. What child wouldn't want this magnificent toy? So order yours now to impress your kids with this extremely sturdy... Cut!
The weatherman predicted the upcoming trial is going to be extremely hot. How will you handle the heat? With a fan, of course! Go to Maylee's funeral home and order yours today. 2, 1, and go.
You've traveled far and wide to see this trial. You must be extremely hungry. Well, don't worry, because we have a solution. Ice-cold lemonade and a juicy hot dog. Head over to Melinda and Hawker when you arrive.
Oh, didn't see you there. Buy a Bible, your guidebook to eternal life. Only $99.99. head over to Elijah to make sure that you don't lose your way amongst the evolutionist infidels.
Welcome back to the Closer Look. Oh my goodness, you guys, that Golden Dancer was terrible. If that commercial had decent editors, no one would realize the truth. Think of all the disappointed children.
That's why you have to investigate, and if something is bright and shining, perfect seeming, you have to find out if it's a lie and show it up for what it really is.
Indeed, everything is not as it seems.
Oh.
And the funeral home selling fans. I mean, they should be comforting grieving families, not tourists.
Of course.
Oh, come on.
How about those next two commercials? What if you had to choose between the two?
What do you mean by that?
Would you choose your stomach or your soul?
At those prices, my stomach, of course.
I know, Elijah set those prices way too high. Like, it seems capitalism is ruining the town's morals. Money is the only thing people are thinking about anymore.
I mean, they're not even focusing on spirituality, guys.
Oh gosh, I know.
Come on, Bibles, come on! Get the nerve of those people!
Alright, so by now the audience knows that this play pretty much has to do with the conflict between fundamentalists and evolutionists. But this can also stand for the conflict between keeping tradition and moving into the modern ways.
Is an example of that when Reverend Brown is teaching the long outdated hellfire and brimstone speech, and Mr. Brady actually has to correct him and bring him into the image of God being loving and forgiving?
Exactly.
Another significant meaning was when German points out that the people should have the right to think about these contradicting items instead of being forced to close their minds to it. He basically fights for people to have open minds.
Drummond actually brings another insight wherein he comes to Hillsborough and has to fight against a biased jury and biased people. This injustice of the situation relates because he has to fight when, in all this legal processes, when he's fighting to get witnesses, to ask questions to the witnesses, and to get people to serve on the jury.
And speaking of witnesses, another important meaning was brought up by Mr. Kate's sweetheart, Rachel. She brings up the important point that people should not be afraid to think. And she stands up to the system of the town, and even her own father, Reverend Brown, to declare that she's not going to be afraid anymore.
Well, it's enough.
Excuse me, everyone, but I have urgent business to attend to.
Oh, Mr. Busy Fancy Pants.
So...
Anyways, enough about their meanings. I think Inherit the Wind is on everyone's favorite list of plays.
Yes, definitely.
Well, actually, no, it's not. It's a big topic of discussion. A lot of literary critics like to criticize this piece, actually. Which brings us to our next segment, Andrew's Literary Criticism. And we have a special guest for everybody tonight, Mr. Jeffrey Sherman.
Well, we better get to that.
Yeah?
Let's go!
Let's go. Okay, everybody. Now please welcome our special guest, Mr. Jeffrey Sherman.
Well, it's very good to be here.
Hi, Jeffrey. Good to have you. So, today we're talking about the play Inherit the Wind by Jerome Lawrence and Robert E. Lee. From your personal opinion, what do you feel is the essence of this piece?
Well, the battle for the soul and of society and the individual is very evident through Drummond and Brady.
Most definitely. So, Mr. Sherman, can you tell us a little about your personal opinion of the piece?
Of course. I feel that this play embodies issues and tensions which existed in the 20s, but still exist today.
That is so true. The battle between science and religion is such a hot topic that was famous around the Scopes trial and still is here today. So, Mr. Sherman, can you tell us a little bit about can you relate this piece to any other works of literature?
Yes, actually. This piece parallels the famous play by Arthur Miller, The Crucible. It was in reaction to McCarthyism as well as a reflection on the fears of people during the 50s. In Inherit the Wind, as well as in The Crucible, the main character in the play will stand up against society, and the conflict of the piece will surround that character.
Exactly. So, Mr. Sherman, can you tell us about the views of another literary critic, Ben Brantley, and why you disagree with his views?
Sure. Well, Mr. Brantley is entitled to his own views, but I disagree with them because he picks out frivolous details that are minute in comparison with the essence of the play.
Can you extrapolate on that?
Well, for example, Brantley goes into discussion on the heat of the courtroom during the trial. Here I have an excerpt from his review. Here we go. I also believe that he, unlike most of the others on stage, truly felt the heat of a stuffy summer courtroom in the days before air conditioning. This may sound like a minor point, but for Inherit the Wind to be more than a yellowing position paper, you must be convinced that these characters who exist in a particular time and place, where it happens to be hotter than, well, hell. If you ask me, a critic should focus more on the substance of the play, rather than whether or not the courtroom has air conditioning.
Well put, definitely. Well, it looks like we're out of time for today for Mr. Sherman's interview, and thank you for joining us.
Anytime.
Thank you. Now we're going to take a commercial break, so stay tuned for more of The Closer Look. Hi, I'm Bertram Cates, and I'm here to talk to you today about why does it have to be one or the other? Why couldn't have God created the world in a long miracle and not a mere 7 days? During the upcoming trial, please keep your minds open, and please don't send me to prison. Hi, I'm Bertram Cates, and I approve this message.
Mr. Consider was right and true when assessing these ridiculous claims by Darwin. He believes our ancestors were monkeys and worms, while the Bible tells us that God made man without all this mucking about with lowly animals. Come and show your support for the right in the upcoming trial. I'm Matthew Harrison Brady, and I approve this message.
Worms, worms, worms. Order your worms now. They're great fishing bait, fun to hunt, and amazing pets. You'll catch the greatest fish, have the most amazing adventures, and your pets will never escape. Order yours today.
Welcome back, you guys, to The Closer Look.
Hey guys, did I miss the interview?
Yeah, you just missed Mr. Sherman.
Your urgent business.
Yeah, I heard he was amazing.
He was.
Very German.
Well, let's talk about that last commercial.
Yeah, I mean, after knowing we evolved from those poor worms, using them as bait seems a little cruel, if you ask me.
But did we really evolve from them? Why can't the Bible be right?
As Kate said, why can't both Darwin and Genesis be right? Life isn't just black and white. There are various shades of gray.
And besides, we don't even know how long the first 4 days were. He hadn't even made the sun yet.
They could have been millions, even of billions of years long.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my.
Well, our show's about to come to a close, but we would never end it without having our weekly game of Illusions!
Alright, so we have our first caller, Darren from South Carolina. Darren, how do you feel about being here tonight?
I'm so excited to be here, y'all.
Welcome to this game where you have to name at least 2 literary connections to other pieces and inherit the wind. Do you think you can do it?
I already know exactly what I'm going to say.
Well, let's begin.
Alright, the one letter connection to John Edward's speech sinners began with angry God when Reverend Brown prayed to God to strike down this sinner. The 2 pieces have that image of a wrathful Lord who's upset with the sinners. Another literary connection is to Carl Sandburg's poem Brian at the end of Red's Cornback says, 2 years, 10 years, and tourists will ask the guy who died here, Matthew Harrison who? The 2 pieces connect the fact that people die and the memories are forgotten. Just as the grass took care of the dead after battle, the town will also take care of Mr. Brady as he just becomes part of the scene in a bigger battle.
Oh, very good connections.
Congratulations, Darren. You have just won a trip to Dayton, the town in which the real trial took place.
But now nothing exciting is happening there. You were just sending me out in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, it seems we've lost connection, but don't worry, Darren. We'll get your tickets to you.
Join us next time when we analyze F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby.
We look forward to seeing you.
Thank you for watching The
Closer
Closer Look!
Duck, you avoid the duck!